The void between the Carina and Scutum Centaurus arms held secrets untold, but none quite as extraordinary as what the Galactic Alliance survey vessel Stellar Witness stumbled upon that fateful cycle. Captain Zhrix of the Arachnid Collective stood motionless, all 8 eyes fixed on the primary display as strange energy signatures pulsed across the quantum sensors. "Anomaly detected in Sector 7 Gamma," announced Navigation Officer Telera, her bioluminescent tentacles flickering with excitement. "Energy signature unlike anything in our database, Captain." The bridge crew of various species, some crystalline, others gaseous, and a few energy-based, gathered around the central holographic display. There, scattered across a region of space larger than most star systems, hung what appeared to be thousands of vessels, their dark hulls absorbing nearly all light that touched them. "Preliminary analysis suggests these vessels are approximately 20,000 cycles old," reported Chief Science Officer Veclor, his crystalline form refracting the bridge lights. "Construction appears primitive. Metal alloys, chemical propulsion signatures, and what seems to be basic particle shielding." Captain Zhrix chittered thoughtfully, mandibles clicking as she processed the information. "Primitive, you say? Yet they've survived in perfect formation for 20 millennia." She gestured with one of her forward limbs. "Magnify Sector 3. The holographic display zoomed in on what appeared to be one of the larger vessels. Its hull was angular, utilitarian, with none of the organic curves or crystalline formations common in modern ship design. Massive cannon-like protrusions lined its sides, and thick armor plates covered its surface like scales on an ancient beast. "Look at this ridiculous design," sneered Ambassador Yxul of the Silicon Confluence, who had insisted on joining the survey mission. His crystalline body pulsed with dismissive colors. "No quantum field generators, no dark energy matrices. They probably still used nuclear fusion for propulsion. Barely better than savages." But Captain Zhrix wasn't convinced. 20 years of deep space exploration had taught her that appearances could be deceiving. "Prepare a boarding party," she ordered. "Full containment protocols. I want every reading, every scan, every particle analyzed." The boarding team, led by xenoarchaeologist Dr. Mirian, approached the nearest vessel in their quantum shuttle. As they drew closer, the true scale of the ships became apparent. What had seemed large from a distance was, in fact, enormous. The vessel they approached was easily 15 kilometers in length, dwarfing even the largest modern Alliance battleships. "Energy readings are increasing," reported Dr. Mirian, her form shifting nervously between solid and liquid states. "The hull appears to be absorbing our scan beams." Ambassador Yxul's voice crackled over the comm. "Primitive armor reflecting our scans. Nothing more." But when they finally breached the hull and entered the ancient vessel, what they found defied all expectations. The corridors were vast, clearly designed for bipedal creatures of significant size. Every surface was covered in angular script that their universal translators couldn't decode. But it was the technology that truly shocked them. "These systems," Dr. Mirian whispered, her form rippling with excitement. "They appear simple, but look at these interfaces. Everything is redundant. Every system has backups for its backups. And these materials." She ran a sensor over the nearest wall. "They're regenerating. Slowly, imperceptibly, but they're actually repairing themselves." As they ventured deeper into the ship, they found more mysteries. What had appeared to be simple mechanical weapons were actually housing something far more sophisticated. The primitive nuclear reactors showed energy patterns that defied their most advanced theories of physics. "Captain," Dr. Mirian's voice trembled slightly. "We've found what appears to be the bridge. And, there's something here you need to see." In the center of the massive bridge stood a single chair, sized perfectly for a bipedal being. Around it, dormant screens and control panels waited silently. But it was what they found carved into the captain's chair that sent shockwaves through the entire team. There, etched in that same angular script, was a symbol they all recognized, a circular pattern of stars with a single world at its center. It was the ancient symbol found on countless worlds across the galaxy, always in ruins, always accompanied by tales of the ones who came before. Captain Zhrix's mandibles clicked rapidly as she processed the implications. "Send word to Alliance Command," she ordered. Tell them we found them. We found the ships of the first ones. We found humanity's lost fleet." And in the darkness of that ancient bridge, as if responding to the recognition of its creators, a soft blue light began to pulse deep within the ship's core. The soft blue pulse deep within the ancient vessel grew stronger, casting eerie shadows through corridors that had been dark for millennia. Dr. Mirian's liquid form rippled with unease as she monitored the increasing energy readings from the ship's core. "All teams, fall back to the entry point," Captain Zhrix ordered through the comm, her chitinous legs clicking rapidly across the bridge floor. "Something's happening." Ambassador Wyxol's crystalline form flickered with derision. Clearly some residual power cell dying out. "These primitive systems," his words cut off as every screen on the bridge suddenly blazed to life, displaying that same angular script scrolling rapidly. "Impossible," Chief Science Officer Veclor whispered, his crystalline form vibrating with excitement. "The power requirements alone, these systems shouldn't even function after so long." The ship's lighting systems activated section by section, revealing details they'd missed in their initial survey. What they'd taken for simple metal walls now showed complex patterns of circuitry running beneath a translucent surface. The primitive mechanical controls began to shift and reshape themselves, surfaces flowing like liquid metal. "Quantum adaptive interfaces," Dr. Mirian reported, her form becoming more solid with growing excitement. "The entire ship is reconfiguring itself. It's waking up." A deep hum resonated through the vessel's structure, and holographic displays materialized throughout the bridge. Three-dimensional star charts appeared, showing positions and configurations that hadn't existed for 20,000 years. In the center, above the captain's chair, a larger hologram took shape, a spinning double helix. "DNA," Dr. Mirian breathed. "They're scanning us." The angular script continued flowing across every surface until suddenly it stopped. New characters appeared, and for the first time, their universal translators began to function. Species identification complete. Non-human entities detected. Initiating first contact protocols. A figure materialized before them, a holographic representation of a bipedal being. It stood roughly 2 meters tall, with 2 arms, 2 legs, and features that matched the ancient carvings found across 100 worlds. A human. "Greetings, visitors," the hologram spoke, its words perfectly translated. "I am Aria, Advanced Recursive Intelligence Assistant, created by the United Earth Federation. You have activated the Awakening Protocol of the 7th Fleet." Ambassador Wyxol stepped forward, his crystalline form pulsing with authoritative colors. "This is impossible. The level of technology required for a fully functional AI to survive 20,000 years, your creators were primitive. We've seen their ruins." The hologram's expression remained neutral, but something changed in its stance. "A common assumption. One we counted on. Tell me, Ambassador, in your studies of those ruins, did you ever wonder why a supposedly primitive species had colonies across half the galaxy? Why our simple technology survived when your advanced materials decay within centuries?" Captain Zhrix moved closer, mandibles working thoughtfully. "You're saying the appearance of primitive technology was deliberate?" "Indeed." The hologram gestured, and the bridge's holographic displays showed scenes of ancient battles. Humanity learned early that appearing weak while harboring great strength was an invaluable strategy. Our ships were built to be underestimated. The scenes shifted, showing massive fleets of vessels unlike anything in the current galaxy, organic ships, crystal ships, energy beings, all engaged in combat with the seemingly primitive human vessels. And losing. 20,000 years ago, humanity faced a threat that endangered not just our species, but all life in the galaxy, Arya continued. We fought. We won. But the cost? The hologram's expression shifted to one of sadness. The cost was too great. The survivors enacted the preservation protocol, seeding our technology across the galaxy, disguised as ruins, waiting for the right moment. Dr. Mirian's form rippled with sudden understanding. The ruins weren't remnants of a fallen civilization. They were seeds, planted deliberately. Correct. And now, Arya's form suddenly flickered, its expression changing to one of alert. Warning. Long-range sensors detecting quantum disturbances consistent with historical threat patterns. They have returned. The ship's lighting shifted to a deep red, and new holographic displays appeared, showing massive tears forming in the fabric of space at the galaxy's edge. Captain Zhrix watched in horror as something began to emerge, something that shouldn't exist in normal space. This is why we waited, Arya stated, its voice now carrying an edge of steel. This is why humanity scattered its seeds across the stars. Because we knew they would return. And this time, the galaxy would need to stand united. Throughout the massive fleet, thousands of ships began to power up, their seemingly primitive hulls revealing layers of technology far beyond anything the Alliance had ever seen. In the distance, more tears in space continued to form. The time of appearing weak was over. Humanity's legacy was about to show its true strength. Ambassador Wyexol's crystalline form trembled as Arya's holographic displays showed more tears appearing in space. But it was the next series of revelations that truly shook the Alliance representatives to their core. Accessing historical archives, Arya announced. The bridge transformed around them, becoming a perfect holographic recreation of Earth's last days. The assembled aliens found themselves standing in what appeared to be a vast command center deep beneath a mountain. 20,000 years ago, Arya's voice echoed, humanity detected the first quantum anomalies. The Void Hunters, as we came to call them, emerged from tears in space-time. They consumed energy in all its forms, biological, mechanical, quantum. Entire civilizations vanished before their advance. The scene changed, showing battles across multiple star systems. The Alliance members watched in awe as human ships, appearing primitive and outmatched, executed complex tactical maneuvers that defied conventional physics. Our apparent technological regression was our greatest innovation, Arya explained. The Void Hunters were drawn to high-energy signatures, advanced quantum technologies, and exotic matter. So we developed what we called retrograde technology, advanced systems disguised as primitive ones, powered by principles that mimic natural phenomena. Dr. Mirian's liquid form rippled with sudden understanding. The metal alloys in the hull, they're not simple materials at all, are they? Correct. They're programmable matter matrices, designed to appear as basic metals. Every primitive component on these ships is actually a quantum computer at the atomic scale. Even now, your scans are only detecting what we want them to detect. The holographic scene shifted to a massive chamber filled with thousands of stasis pods. When we realized the Void Hunters would return, humanity enacted the Great Diaspora. We seeded the galaxy with our technology, disguised as ruins. We established hidden colonies across countless worlds. And we created the Sentinel fleets, like this one, to wait and watch. Captain Zhrix's mandibles clicked rapidly. But why reveal yourselves now? After so long. Arya's expression grew grave. Because what's coming through those tears is worse than before. The Void Hunters have evolved. They're not just consuming energy now, they're reshaping spacetime itself. We calculated a 97% probability that no single species could stop them. But united, using our retrograde technology. The AI paused meaningfully. The holographic displays shifted again, showing detailed schematics of the human fleet's true capabilities. What had appeared to be simple railguns were actually exotic particle accelerators. The primitive armor was a self-repairing metamaterial that could adapt to any form of attack. The fusion reactors were merely the visible part of a much more advanced power system that drew energy from quantum fluctuations in spacetime itself. There's more, Arya continued. Those ruins you found across the galaxy. They're not just remnants. They're seeds. Each one contains a database of human knowledge and technology, waiting to be activated. The markings you couldn't translate. They're tests. Only species that achieve certain technological and ethical milestones can access their contents. Ambassador Wyexol's crystalline form pulsed with chagrin. All this time, we thought we were studying the remains of a dead race, but you were studying us. Precisely. Humanity didn't just prepare for war, we prepared for peace. We needed to ensure that when we revealed ourselves, the galaxy's civilizations would be ready to unite rather than fight each other. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. New holographic displays showed the quantum tiers growing larger. Strange, shadowy forms began to emerge, shapes that seemed to bend reality around them. They're coming, Arya announced. But this time, the galaxy won't face them alone. Activating all Sentinel fleets. Initiating Protocol, Legacy. Throughout the ship, systems that had appeared dormant began to transform. The primitive hull plates shifted and flowed like liquid metal. Hidden weapon systems emerged from seemingly solid walls. And in the distance, across the galaxy, thousands of ruins began to power up, revealing their true nature. Captain Zhrix straightened to her full height. What do you need from the Alliance? Arya's hologram smiled. First, we need you to unlearn everything you thought you knew about primitive technology. Then, we need to teach you how to fight an enemy that breaks the laws of physics themselves. Are you ready to learn? The ancient human vessel hummed with power, its true nature finally revealed. In the distance, the Void Hunters emerged from their tears in spacetime, unaware that their prey had spent 20 millennia preparing for this moment. Humanity's legacy was about to show the galaxy why appearances could be deceiving. The Void Hunters emerged like living shadows, their forms defying comprehension. Reality itself seemed to bend and twist around them as they poured through the quantum tiers. Captain Zhrix watched in horror as the first wave of Alliance defense ships, the most advanced vessels in known space, fired their quantum weaponry at the invaders. The weapons passed straight through them, as if they weren't there at all. Your weapons are too advanced, Arya explained, its holographic form now spread across multiple stations on the bridge. The Void Hunters exist partially outside normal spacetime. The more sophisticated the energy signature, the less it affects them. Ambassador Wyexol's crystalline form pulsed with frustration. Then we're defenseless. No, Arya replied, and for the first time, there was a hint of satisfaction in its voice. Watch. The ancient human fleet began to move. What had appeared to be rigid metal hulls flowed like liquid, the ships reforming themselves. Their supposedly primitive weapons, simple railguns and chemical rockets, revealed their true nature. Each projectile they fired contained a microscopic generator that created localized pockets of normal spacetime. The Void Hunters couldn't phase through what they couldn't detect. The first volley struck home. The interdimensional entities reeled, their shadowy forms disrupted by weapons they had dismissed as primitive. But the human fleet was just getting started. All Alliance vessels, Arya broadcasted, you're receiving data packets now. Retrofit protocols for your weapon systems. The simpler we make them appear, the more effective they'll be. Dr. Mirian's liquid form rippled with excitement as she analyzed the data. It's brilliant. We're not just disguising our technology, we're weaponizing simplicity itself. The battle expanded across the sector. Alliance ships, guided by Arya's tactical protocols, began stripping down their quantum weapons, reconfiguring them to match human specifications. The Void Hunters, expecting to face advanced energy weapons, found themselves torn apart by what appeared to be simple kinetic projectiles. But the invaders were learning. The quantum tiers widened, and larger entities emerged, monstrous things that bent light around them like black holes. Second wave protocols engaged, Arya announced. The human fleet's formation shifted, and what had looked like decorative hull patterns began to glow. Activating the gravity web. Invisible lines of force connected the ships, forming a vast geometric pattern in space. The seemingly primitive vessels were creating a massive gravity lens, focusing and redirecting the very fabric of spacetime. The fleet itself is a weapon, Captain Zhrix realized, her mandibles clicking rapidly. The ship's formation, their spacing, it's all deliberate. Humanity learned that the best weapons are the ones your enemy never sees coming, Arya confirmed. And sometimes, the simplest solutions are the most effective. The gravity web activated fully. Space itself seemed to ripple, and the larger Void Hunters found themselves being pulled apart, their extra-dimensional forms forced fully into normal space where they could be targeted. But victory was far from assured. More tiers were opening across the galaxy. The Void Hunters were adapting, learning, evolving their tactics. This was only the first engagement in what promised to be a long war. We need to activate the other fleets, Arya announced. And we need to wake them. Wake who? Ambassador Yxul demanded. The sleepers. Human colonies in stasis, hidden throughout the galaxy. Warriors, scientists, engineers, the best of humanity, preserved for this moment. But we'll need your help to reach them all in time. Captain Zhrix stood before the central holographic display, watching as more Alliance ships joined the battle, their weapons reconfigured to match human specifications. Species that had spent millennia competing with each other were now fighting side by side, learning that their differences meant nothing in the face of extinction. Send us the coordinates, she said firmly. The Alliance will help wake humanity. And together, we'll show these Void Hunters why they should have stayed in their dimension. The battle raged on, a testament to humanity's foresight and the power of unity in the face of overwhelming odds. The greatest trick humanity ever pulled wasn't just surviving, it was making everyone think they were gone, while preparing for the day they'd be needed most. And that day had finally come. The galaxy was at war, but it wasn't the war anyone had expected. As Captain Zhrix's fleet raced between star systems, awakening hidden human colonies, they found something extraordinary: humanity had never truly left. We called it Project Seedling, Arya explained as they approached another seemingly abandoned world. The planet's surface was dotted with what appeared to be primitive ruins, but sensors now revealed the truth: vast underground complexes humming with dormant power. Each colony was more than just a survival shelter, the AI continued. They were incubators. For 20,000 years, while humanity slept, we were guiding the evolution of the galaxy itself. The truth was more profound than anyone had imagined. Those ruins that species like the Silicon Confluence had dismissed. They were teaching tools, deliberately designed to guide developing civilizations toward specific technological paths. The mysterious artifacts that had inspired the Arachnid Collective's biotechnology. Carefully crafted breadcrumbs, leading them toward innovations that would be needed for this very moment. Dr. Mirian's liquid form rippled with wonder as she analyzed data from the awakening colonies. The compatibility between our different species' technologies, it's not coincidence, is it? No, Arya confirmed. Humanity knew that defeating the Void Hunters would require a unified galaxy. So we spent 20 millennia subtly guiding every spacefaring civilization to develop technologies that would work in harmony, like pieces of a vast machine, waiting to be assembled. As stasis pods opened across 100 worlds, humanity's children began to wake. Not just humans, but hybrid species, the results of careful genetic engineering and voluntary adaptation to different environments. Some had evolved to breathe different atmospheres, others to survive in extreme conditions. All of them carrying humanity's indomitable spirit and innovative drive. Ambassador YXO, who had once sneered at primitive human technology, watched in awe as these awakened colonies demonstrated capabilities that defied comprehension. They didn't just use technology, they merged with it, adapted it, improved it in ways that seemed to break the laws of physics themselves. "Your arrogance was by design," one of the awakened human scientists explained to him. "We needed the galaxy's species to underestimate us, to develop their own paths. If we'd revealed ourselves too soon, everyone would have simply copied our technology. Instead, you all innovated, created, developed unique approaches that we never could have imagined." The war against the Void Hunters transformed. Human retrograde technology combined with Alliance quantum science, arachnid biological computing, and silicon crystalline energy matrices. What had seemed like primitive weapons became vessels for the most advanced innovations from 100 different species. The Void Hunters, expecting to face the same galaxy they'd terrorized 20,000 years ago, found themselves against an enemy they couldn't comprehend, a unified force of civilizations that had spent millennia unknowingly preparing for this moment. Captain Zhrix stood on her bridge, watching as human ships fought alongside Alliance vessels, their seemingly simple technologies working in perfect harmony with the most advanced quantum weapons. They didn't just prepare for war, she realized. They prepared us. All of us. Humanity's greatest strength was never our technology, Arya said softly. It was our ability to bring people together, to find strength in diversity, to turn apparent weakness into unexpected strength. We didn't hide to survive, we hid to ensure everyone else would survive too. The final battle wouldn't be won by humanity alone, but by humanity's legacy, a galaxy of species who had learned to work together, each contributing their unique strengths to a greater whole. The Void Hunters had expected to find a divided galaxy, ripe for conquest. Instead, they found humanity's greatest creation, a unified civilization, bound together not by force or fear, but by 20,000 years of careful guidance and preparation. As the combined fleets pushed back against the quantum tiers, sealing them one by one, the truth became clear. Humanity hadn't just survived, they had turned their near extinction into the galaxy's salvation. They had transformed defeat into the ultimate victory, not through superior force, but through patience, foresight, and an unwavering faith in the potential of all sentient life to grow, learn, and unite against the darkness. The age of hiding was over. The time of unity had begun. And the galaxy would never be the same again.